The end of humanity wasn't loud. It wasn't even sudden. It came with the silence of abandoned cities, the stillness of starless nights, and the muted cries of a species driven to its knees. Earth was no longer a planet of vibrant life, but a graveyard shrouded in ash and despair. The Zenith Collective had descended with their cold precision, deeming humanity unworthy of survival. Their technology was so advanced it seemed like magic, their cruelty beyond comprehension. In mere weeks, Earth's defenses crumbled, its proud fleets scattered like leaves in a storm. What remained of humanity was no longer a civilization but a collection of broken remnants, those who had escaped into the void. The survivors clung to asteroid bases, derelict space stations, and hollowed-out moons, eking out a meager existence. Supplies were scarce, morale even scarcer. Yet, despite everything humanity endured, there was something in their spirit that refused to surrender, a stubborn defiance against oblivion. Captain Elena Navarro sat in the dimly lit command room of Resolute, the flagship of what could hardly be called a fleet. Her eyes, once vibrant, now carried the weight of countless lives lost. Around her, the hum of ancient consoles and the quiet chatter of a skeleton crew filled the air. The people who remained were not soldiers, they were scavengers, engineers, dreamers who refused to stop dreaming. A crackling alert interrupted the grim quiet. "We've intercepted something," said Lieutenant Harris. His voice tinged with excitement. On his monitor, an encrypted signal pulsed erratically. Navarro leaned in, studying the data. It wasn't Zenith technology. This was older, something alien yet untouched by the Collective's destructive hands. The message, when partially decoded, spoke of a weapon. Not just any weapon but something powerful enough to shift the balance of the war. The coordinates pointed to a system far beyond the mapped regions of space, a place avoided even by the Zenith due to its instability. To some it was a trap. To Elena it was hope. Her decision was immediate. "Plot a course," she ordered, her voice cutting through the tension. "We're going." There was no time for debate, no room for hesitation. The crew exchanged worried glances but obeyed. Elena had led them through impossibilities before. If she believed this was worth the risk, so did they. As the fleet prepared to jump, Elena allowed herself a moment to reflect. Humanity had been driven to the brink, but they hadn't broken. They were still here, fighting, surviving. The Zenith Collective might have believed them to be inferior, but the Collective didn't understand what it meant to be human. It wasn't just about survival, it was about hope, about refusing to bow even when every force in the universe demanded it. The engines roared to life, and the fleet vanished into hyperspace. Behind them lay the ruins of a once great civilization. Ahead, the faintest glimmer of a chance. And for Elena Navarro that was enough. The Zenith warship loomed over the human fleet like a predator ready to strike. Its sleek black hull absorbed light, a symbol of the oppressive power that had crushed countless civilizations. The humans, battered and outgunned, had no choice but to defend themselves. The moment the Zenith began their attack, the space around the megastructure erupted into chaos. Elena directed the fleet with sharp precision, her orders cutting through the din of alarms and weapon fire. The smaller human ships, outmatched in firepower, relied on agility and tactics. They darted through debris fields, using the unstable environment to their advantage, while Resolute took the brunt of the assault. Shields flickered, hulls buckled, but the fleet held its ground. Inside the megastructure, a small team of engineers worked frantically to access its systems. The alien technology was beyond anything they had encountered, a puzzle of circuits and glyphs that seemed to shift as they worked. Every second counted. The Zenith warship's attacks were relentless, and the human fleet couldn't hold out much longer. The engineers uncovered fragments of the structure's purpose. It wasn't just a weapon, it was a repository of knowledge, a culmination of a long-dead civilization's efforts to safeguard their legacy. Among its archives were schematics for technology that could turn the tide of the war. But there was no time to decipher it all. The team focused on activating its defensive systems, hoping to buy the fleet a few precious moments. As the battle outside intensified, sacrifices became inevitable. Smaller ships broke apart under Zenith fire, their crews giving their lives to protect the mission. A frigate deliberately rammed into the enemy warship, its final act disabling one of the Zenith's primary weapons. The explosion lit up the darkness, a fleeting beacon of human defiance. The engineers finally made a breakthrough. The megastructure's core hummed to life, flooding the area with an otherworldly light. Elena's voice crackled over the comms. "We need results now, or we won't have a fleet left to save." With seconds to spare, the engineers activated a massive energy field. It wasn't a weapon in the traditional sense. It was a disabling pulse that targeted Zenith technology specifically. The warship systems flickered, its sleek hull suddenly lifeless as it drifted helplessly in space. For the first time, humanity had neutralized a Zenith force without being destroyed. But the cost was steep. The energy field overloaded the megastructure, causing catastrophic failures. The team barely escaped as the ancient construct began to collapse. The fleet had no choice but to retreat, pulling away from the dying star as the megastructure crumbled into fiery debris. Elena's voice remained steady despite the losses. "We didn't find salvation. We didn't find a weapon to end the war. But we found proof. Proof that the Zenith aren't invincible, and that humanity can rise above even the darkest odds. We're not finished yet." The fleet limped away, battered but alive, carrying with them fragments of alien knowledge and the spark of hope they desperately needed. For the first time in years, the Zenith had been denied victory.